2026, on vient finir ce qu'on a commencé.
Smash burgers over the coals. I've always
UFC 325, brother. Let's get it. Back-to-back numbered cards. First time ever. No longer pay-per-views, but either way, 2 stack cards back-to-back. I thought last week, minus all the commercials, the card itself delivered. The Meatlock did not. What'd you make of Arnold Allen versus the Nerd? It was a pretty close fight until that third round, once the Nerd decided to simply surf Arnold Allen and spoil our Meatlock. So what'd you make of that fight specifically?
Yeah, it was a close fight until the nerd surfed him. I mean, he surfed him right out of the meat lock. I mean, we were looking at the meat lock. We did not expect the surf and turf. Let's just be honest. So the surf and turf really got to us. It made me a little sick. I had that night, but
Yeah.
this weekend we'll be back on the green.
Yeah, fair points. We all got sick. Obviously, Ninok did as well. Either way, back for another numbered card this week and a straight up Meatlock. It's a rematch in the meat event. Should we swap us through 325?
Yeah, let's just get right into the meat lock.
Fair enough. Let's through. It's the Meatlock. You see the text. It's an absolute Meatlock Malkoun. Jacob Malkoun versus Torres Finney. This should be easy light work. And I'm straight up with you, meat boy. This is one that it's a high confidence Meatlock because Torres Finney, we saw him debut against Robert Valentin. And that was one of the strangest fights we've ever seen. The guy loses by split decision, Valentin, despite landing 93 strikes to 17 by Finney. It was all control, right? 13 minutes for Torres Finney, only threw 8 strikes in 15 minutes of action, and Valentin, meanwhile, landed leg kick after leg kick. So I just think from that fight alone, it's clear Torres Finney is a good wrestler. When he's going up against someone in Jacob Malkoun, however, who has both the wrestling and actual other MMA skills to boot, it's not going to work. This one-trick pony punisher of Torres Finney, I think, runs into an easy light work Malkoun Meatlock in this one. So what do you make of this Meatlock? How do you think the Malkoun minus 162 favorite gets this one done for this Meatlock? And is he going to finish towards Torres Finney?
Yeah, no, I think he will finish Torres Finney. Like Torres is a wrestler, not a jiu-jitsu guy, and Malkoun is a jiu-jitsu and wrestler and striking. So I think wherever it goes, Malkoun's gonna win. Malkoun should be able to get a submission, I think, or at least a grimy decision.
Exactly. This is a guy in Malkoun who, on paper, has 3 UFC losses, right? One was the DQ from Cody Brundage in a fight where Malkoun was absolutely dominating him, and then Cody Brundage ate one illegal elbow and wisely found a way out of the contest. And his other losses are when he went the distance with Brendan Allen, who obviously is like a top 5 dude in the division, and then his debut where he got slept in 18 seconds on the main card of a Whitaker fight. There was a lot of pressure, a lot of eyeballs, and Phil Hawes just absolutely smoked him in 5 seconds. So beyond that, it's been victory after victory for Jacob Malkoun, including that hit blaster of doom TKO victory over your boy Petrosky. So this one to me seems like easy light work. We're keeping it simple, throwing down easy 162 to net 100, get the Meatlock back on track, and abandon the surf and turf of last week and restock the grill with actual patties. So any last thoughts on this Meatlock?
No, I think this is an absolute lock nonetheless. Take it to the grill.
Yeah, take it and switch us through because Tai Tuivasa taking on Taliesin Teixeira, the thumb, who is a minus 340 favorite, and plus 250 is Tai Tuivasa. And Tai Tuivasa obviously has lost 5 in a row. The last one was at least competitive. It was that split decision versus Biggie Boy, but in the 4 prior, he got absolutely slept. Only saw a third round once, and this is a dude who at that time had won 5 in a row. He was sleeping everyone. Derek Lewis, performance of the night. Sakai, Greg Hardy, he sent to Jake Paul Boxing, and things were looking good for Tai Tuivasa, and then they weren't. So he says this is the fight that he needs to get back on track. He seems like he's coming in with a restored confidence, but he's taking on the thumb, who was 8-0, and then he ran into Derek Lewis as a fat favorite himself and got absolutely smoked in 35 seconds by the Black Beast. So it's one that the odds makers refuse to abandon Taliesin over, and they don't believe Tai Tuivasa is going to return with any different outcome than the last 5. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Taliesin Teixeira really got fraud checked in that main event, and even a guy like Tai Tuivasa will sleep him, or is Tuivasa unlikely to ever win in the UFC again?
Um, man, yeah. Ty has not had a good run in recent times. He's been getting finished after finished with a very bad split decision loss to Rosenstrike, which that's unfortunate way to go for both of those guys. Now, for him to get knocked out by Derek Lewis, I think he could absolutely get knocked out by Tai Tuivasa. I mean, they're virtually the same fighter. They are the worst fighter, but if they touch you, you're donezo. So I imagine Tuivasa is going to land a punch and probably knock him out also, even though he is 6'19". He's almost 7 feet, maybe past 7 feet. But being 6'19", you go down hard.
It's basically what they say, and Tai Tuivasa has fought bigger dudes before, has slept bigger guys, in fact, and is a dude who will obviously be swinging YOLOs when they meet in the middle. So, do you think that there's any grappling in this fight? Does Taliesin Teixeira realize, hey, just meeting, in the middle with these meat slinging heavyweights perhaps isn't the best idea? Let's perhaps be a little bit smarter. And if so, could he smash Tuivasa up against the cage, get some takedowns, and then find a way to lessen the danger on the feet? Or do you think that he will have subsequently learned nothing and is going to just meet Tuivasa in the middle for a meetdown?
Yeah, no, Tuivasa is definitely going to throw down with the meat down. But he's got to finish this fight first round. If he doesn't, he's in a gas and probably get finished, and he'll probably get a middle finger KO'd like that guy from last weekend.
Yeah, good call, Josh Hogan, in fact. And this one's tough. I've been going back and forth. I do like what Tai Tuivasa has been saying this week. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence that those utterances will turn into positive action for him. So I'm going to roll Taliesin Teixeira in this one. I think Teixeira probably gets a finish. And I just feel the first 3 minutes will be most dangerous. Tuivasa just swinging those shoey YOLOs. And as long as Teixeira can survive those three, I like him to find a victory in the end. So I'm going to go Taliesin Teixeira probably by second round finish. Are you going Shui by first round KO?
Yeah, I'm going Shui first round KO.
Let us know in the comments if you're taking Shui or the thumb, but swap us through because Rufi is taking on Rafael Fiziev. It's basically a pick 'em. Rufi's minus 128 and is a guy in the nerd who one point had championship ambition. And the opponent in this one, I think, will be a fun one because Fiziev obviously is a dude who is always there to fight. Straight up, what is your pick for this one? Because this is one where Fiziev shocked me a lot in the last fight against Bahamondes, who is a dude who I think is, top 15 in this division. So is Fiziev back? Is he going to smoke his opponent in this one? Or did the nerd from last week rediscover the 2026 sauce for the nerds for this week?
Yeah, apparently the surf and turf nerd definitely brought the sauce back. So I think Rufi's going to get this one done. I think he'll get it convincingly in spectacular fashion with a KO.
If you're going by KO in this one, do you think it'll be early? Do you think it'll be often? I mean, we just saw him succumb to a face crank submission via BSD movement just a few months ago. And obviously before that, he had come in with that amazing spinning wheel kick finish over King Green. So he was flying high and then BSD sent him back a peg. Do you think it's going to be similar finish as the one against King Green was? Or give me more, how do you think he's going to pick up this first round finish? And Fiziev, we know, is a dude who doesn't get finished. So what makes you bullish?
Yeah, no, I think he will get it down at first round because Rufi has these bizarre, unique kicks and punches, his reach, his speed, his power, and I don't think Fiziev's fought a guy as big as him with that kind of power and speed. Like, Dan Hooker, he's big, but he's just kind of sluggish and thick and just hits heavy blows that are slow, but they hurt. This guy's throwing snappy stuff, quick, and I just don't know if Fiziev's gonna be ready for it. And we don't have to worry about grappling because Fiziev is not a grappler, so Rufi's not gonna get face cranked again. So this is like pretty heavily favored in my opinion, stylistically and size wise for the nerd.
Yeah, I do think this fight will predominantly end up on the feet for sure, and it should be fun, right? Because we know Fiziev as a dude who throws those lethal leg kicks. He too is a creative striker, just like Rufi is, and we'll just see who's better in that department for sure. But it's a pick 'em for a reason. I'm ultimately leaning Fiziev on this one. I think that he's going to find a way to get this one done over Rufi, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up losing to Rufi. I would, however, be surprised if it's an early finish because Fiziev, we know, is a dude, besides that knee injury TKO finish against Gamrot, nobody really finishes this dude. And I mean, you're going the distance with Gaethje twice. I struggle to see a world where this guy puts him out, but we'll see if he ends up just like how King Green did, asleep on the canvas by something creative for sure. But officially, I'll go Fiziev. I'm gonna go by decision. Do you say that this isn't an under 90-second banger, is it?
I think oof. Oof, it might be, but I don't know. I think this might be like at least the end of the first round or mid second round.
Fair enough. Let us know in the comments if you too think Farufi's going to finish Fiziev that early. I'm going Fiziev officially, but either way, swap us through. A guy we just mentioned who suddenly is back. BSD movement is a minus 295 favorite against Dan Hooker, who's plus 220. And this is probably, I mean, I don't want to call it the people's main event because Volkanovski's in the meat event versus a fan favorite, but Hooker versus BSD is a pretty fun fight. And we know Dan Hooker as a dude who it seems like whenever he's in these fights where he's fighting as a plus 200 plus 300 dog against a guy who everyone believes is going to steamroll him is when he fights his best fight. And Dan Hooker at this point is such a YOLO wild card that he is just down to fight anyone. It seems like he's almost abandoned championship ambitions and he's just showing up for big fights. Call them money fights if you even want to, but I feel like this is a good opportunity for him in this co-meet, crazy raucous crowd to steal back the hype that BSD has sort of rebuilt for himself throughout this last year. So, what do you make in this co-meet? Does Dan Hooker have a chance, or is he going to get slept by BSD and BSD movements might be due for a title shot later this year? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, Dan Hooker, he's got the bear fight, garage, backyard beef street thing going on. I just don't think he really cares. He's in it for the money, the gore, the fun, and the thrill. It doesn't really seem like he's training to be the next, Khabib, right? So he's in it to just get his name out there, get some bread, and fund more of these backyard street beefs. That seems to be his real passion, is to be basically like a fight promoter, but for the garage and the backyard streets. But Benoit, I mean, he's so young, even though he looks like he's 45. I don't know, man. I think Benoit should win this pretty easily. But every time I say that, Dan Hooker always surprises me. But I think I'm gonna lean on Benoit, and I think he probably wins via submission, maybe. Maybe knockout, but I don't know. I could see anything happening, and the only way I think Dan wins is by knockout. I really doubt Dan wins by decision.
Yeah, and we saw that again. We mentioned earlier that beautiful submission finish that BSD just put on Mauricio Rufi. That could definitely be a pathway for sure. And I too struggle to see a world where Dan Hooker goes and outright sleeps BSD movement, but perhaps wins a round or two, makes it interesting, damages him late, perhaps. I mean, if you don't finish Dan Hooker, then he's a dude who will come and ultimately finish you. So I'm curious how this one plays out. We were surprised, definitely, both of us, with Dan Hooker over Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker over Mateus Gamrot. Both close split decisions in the fight of the night for that fight against Gamrot. But either way, to your point of, sometimes it seems like when we fade Hooker, that's what he does. And I don't know, something's telling me that that's going to happen here, Meat Boy. So I'm going to roll with Dan Hooker. I agree with you that I don't think he has championship ambitions. And he seems to be, whether it's building his own business and brand or just showing up for the fight. But I still feel that Dan Hooker is uber competitive, right? So it's one of those things where he might just be in it for the thrill or to, pump the backyard street beefs in the background, but he's obviously going to win the fight as well. Like this is a dude who seems addicted to both competition and addicted to winning. So I don't think he's just gonna, show up, collect his paycheck, and not go balls to the wall, typical Dan Hooker style. And because of that, I think he'll have enough to take this one over BSD, but we'll see because BSD obviously is on a fat streak and has been looking amazing. So officially, if you're going BSD, when does he get it round? What round? And are you going submission or KO?
I'm gonna go BSD submission, rear naked choke.
Very nice. I go Dan Hooker, close split decision, one time for the hometown kid. Swap us through though. OGM Volkanovski defending his belt, defending it in a rematch against Diego Lopez up at plus 128, who said that the last time these two fought, he wasn't present. He said he didn't enjoy the moment, and because he didn't enjoy the moment, it cost him in the end. So he's coming into this one with a different focus, a different energy, you can even say. And Volkanovski, meanwhile, is typical Volkanovski, right? He said that it wasn't the championship ambition that was his biggest cause for concern in the last fight. It's instead the coming back off getting knocked out. And Volkanovski's a minus 164 favorite against Lopez. Are you taking Volkanovski? Is it going to be easier than the last one? Is he going to get a finish? Or is Lopez coming to perhaps get this one done and make it a trilogy?
Yeah, no, I mean, Volk smoked him first time. I gotta imagine it's gonna happen the same way. Lopes is very good, but I just think Volk is built different. Unless your name is a Taporia, I don't think you have a chance. So I think Volk is gonna smoke him pretty easy.
If he's going to get this one done pretty easily, how do you see this fight unfolding? Because the last time we saw, I mean, he came guns blazing, definitely won those early rounds. It was the fourth round when Diego Lopez had his moments. I don't want to say almost had him finished, but definitely was damaging OGM a little bit in that fourth round. And the fifth round was pretty close. So if this second installment looks different and is a more dominant one for Volkanovski, do you think that he's going to pick up a finish? And if so, an earlier one?
Man, I think he could get an earlier one, but honestly, I think it'll be similar, if not a decision on this one.
We'll see how this one plays out for sure. I've been going back and forth. I do kind of like Diego Lopez in this one. I'm watching these embeddeds. I'm watching all this hype and seeing OGM selling everything and presenting a perfect case for why he gets it done. And just for that reason alone, Diego Lopez sneaks in the back door, finds a way to get this one done when everyone, not everyone, but many backers are no longer with him. So I'm going to roll ever so slightly with Diego Lopez. I think this one does go the distance though, because I don't anticipate this being one-sided. I'd just be very surprised if Lopez shows up a worse version. I mean, we're seeing him drilling all this wrestling, and perhaps that could be the difference in this one as the bigger dude against OGM. But if you're going dominant for OGM, what's the game plan going to be? Is it going to be all on the feet? Is Volkanovski going to mix it up like he did last time? Or how do you see this fight playing out if it is so dominant for Volkanovski?
Yeah, I think this fight's gonna go pretty similar to the first one, maybe even more dominant and more just he's got his number here. He felt him the first time. Like, how much better can Diego Lopez get when Volkanovski is already at the pinnacle? Like, I just don't see it, right? I just don't see where uh Diego Lopez gets to that Taporia level. So I think Volkanovski's just gonna ragdoll him. I don't even think it's gonna go to the ground, to be honest. I think it's gonna be a classic Volk fight. Point him out, kick his legs, tee him up, counter him, and just get a grimy decision.
Yeah, his timing, his accuracy, everything on the feet was just so dialed for him, and that could definitely unfold in a similar fashion in the second installment. Either way, though, should be fun. I'll go Lopez again, ever so slightly by decision, and then a trilogy happens later this year. I do like your point, though. I think it's a good metric. Is Lopez on that Topuria level? And you're right. We will see if he is, because if that is the only level that can take out Volkanovski, then you make a compelling point for sure. So either way, Meat Boy, back-to-back numbered cards. Any last thoughts on UFC 325?
No, this is a sick card. I'm super excited. Can't wait to see the champ back. And this is a fun card. Can't wait to get back in the green.